Hey guys, welcome to another Sweep Unplugged. Be sure to go to our YouTube page, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot of content coming out. A whole bunch of Sweep Unplugs are being released. Of course, you got the Big Daddy, the grand show of all, Sweep the League TV, that comes to you with myself, Derek Gervin, former NBA Hall of Famer. Coach Gio's come back for a little bit, so you want to miss it? You don't want to miss anything. We got Sweep Unplugged, Sweep the League TV, STL Music, Refocus Network. We got the Bez Boys podcast. We've got another couple of podcasts that have been released recently. So the network is growing. It's going to continue to grow. Don't be left behind. Go search Sweep the League TV on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. What are we doing on Sweep Unplugged today? Well, you know, guys, we like to, unplug from the Sweep the League sports world and plug you in to different aspects of sports or even outside of sports, whether it be entertainment, authors, everything. Well, this is fan experience time. 2025 is here. We were talking fitness. We were talking finances in the beginning. We got to put that under the rug here. We're going to sweep it under the rug here. We're going to go into fan experience time. We're talking about Pixseat. Now, Pixseat.com is going to be an experience, and it's going to be an amazing experience. And I guarantee you guys that those $140 tickets that you buy for games is probably going to be worth it even more today than anything else. And why is that? Because Pixseat is going to change the way you're experiencing a game. But, enough about me. Let's bring in our guests today, and it's going to be Brian and Rebecca Haynes, Pixseat.com. Welcome to Sweep Unplugged. How are you guys doing this morning?
We're doing great.
Great. Thanks so much for having us on.
No problem. Thank you for being on and putting up with my shenanigans this morning on a Friday of all days. I mean, this is Fridays where we're getting ready for the weekend, and weekend's here. And I'm not even gonna sugarcoat stuff. Had a great game last night with Notre Dame, Penn State. Got an amazing game with Texas and Ohio State. I picked Texas. Derek Gervin picked Ohio State. So we're back and forth on that. Plus, you got an amazing NFL playoff this weekend. You got tons of games. Pixseat. I just want to know, because looking at the website, Pixseat.com, I'm sitting here like, wow, I get the concept. I love the concept, but I was left with a couple of questions that I want to ask you guys. But give the audience a little bit of background on Pixseat.
Sure. So I'm world's biggest Alabama football fan, named after Coach Bear Bryant. So it's in me. I am also a graduate from the University of Alabama for my undergraduate degree. And I was at an Alabama LSU game in 2016 with my best friend, and they were doing the wave around the stadium. And I was thinking, as we're doing it, there's got to be a way to modernize this, to make it even more engaging, more fun, and more memorable. So I was thinking about it. I pondered a little bit, didn't come up with anything. And then the following Friday, I was at my son's football game, a high school football game, and it hit me. I know how to do this. Somebody was holding up several people were holding their phones with the flash so you can see the light. And I thought, I know how to do this. So I had a bunch of my friends come over to my house after the game, and I gave each one of them a different pixel to cover their entire screen. And then I had them stand in the road in front of my house, and I recorded them. I could see what I was wanting to see. And then I came up with this idea of Pixseat. We're going to pixelate the fans across the entire stadium, and we're going to generate images and animations with the audience. So it was born in 2016, and several things slowed us down along the way, but now we're finally launching. We've got engagements with some big players, so we're going in the right direction now.
Wow, that's the amazing part, because I know for me as a fan, when I go to a game, I'm so used to being back in the day where the wave, you mentioned the wave, it still goes on in games today. You expect to have funs and laughs with the mascots, the Spurs Coyote, world famous Coyote. You've got ways to interact, but these days fans want to be so more involved because you have 3D, I'm going to say 3D virtual goggles that I saw, and I'm an old man, so I'm looking like, what am I doing here with this kind of stuff here? And it's amazing because you're actually bringing different parts of the game. And if I'm not mistaken, Pixseat doesn't necessarily just mean illuminate the arena and have the pixels everywhere, get these designs out, but it's also going to add a few more features for fans to make that experience that much better, because if you're going to a Bama game and they're demolishing, whoever, I'm not going to say Texas because I can't do that to the Longhorn people here, but if
Right.
they're demolishing whoever, there's got to be some other experiences in them for them to have. So Pixie does offer other features, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right. We do, because we know exactly where people are sitting and where they're standing. We add features like we can order concessions directly to your seat.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be delivering Wi-Fi to your seat in stadiums where Wi-Fi is not already provided, which is coming pretty fast. And several other features like find my seat, find the nearest exit, which one's not congested, find another member of my party or a friend, and then some interactive things where we're adding social media integration and social media on site. So, for example, if you and a small group of people around you want to create your own emoticon in the stands, you can do that independent of what we're doing across the entire audience.
Yeah, we want them to like really engage and compete. Like one side might be doing one emoji and the other side might be doing another and try to, outdo the other. So we really want to get them completely immersed and engaged in it.
Yeah.
Wow. See, this is a whole nother revolution that's about to happen at games. And
Exactly.
Man, this is getting me a little more excited, because I tend to not want to go to a lot of games because, again, if I'm either covering the game for sports, media, or I'm there trying to enjoy a game, and it's just like sitting there like, okay, it's the same thing over and over again. But Pixseat's offering a whole lot more. We're talking to Brian and Rebecca Haynes. Pixseat.com. That's the website you want to go to get excited and get more info about Pixseat. That's going to be coming on later on this year. Now, I know you mentioned, Brian, that, named after Bear Bryant, obviously from Alabama.
Right.
I got to know, Rebecca, are you a Bama fan, or is there any type
by
of
default? I don't really have a choice.
Oh God. See,
yeah. I mean, my
I
family's from West Virginia, so my dad's a Mountaineer, but
man, see that you know what, I keep you on high praise there, because my household is split. My wife is a Cowboy fan. I can't be a Cowboy fan. I just can't do it in the NFL wise. I'm a diehard Tar Heel fan. She's a diehard Longhorn fan. So grew up in San Antonio my entire life, and I don't know why I don't cheer for Texas. So I just had to ask if that was in there, because if you ever see West Virginia and Alabama play, is there going to be a little rivalry with Pixseat? You got a Mountaineer here, you got Tide here, stuff like that.
My dad would definitely call him and egg him on. Yeah. He's a Hatfield. He's like sixth generation from the Lance Hatfield, from the Hatfield-McCoy feud.
Yeah.
So he's very much a diehard fan.
Wow. Man, well, I don't want to cause any issues right here.
That tells you who wins the arguments.
Well, I know in the household, I always, I say I win the arguments, but that's when my wife's away in another room, and I tell that to myself in the mirror. You won that argument. You won that argument. At the end of the day, yeah, I know who wins definitely the argument. But as far as Pixie goes, it's a fan experience in arenas and stadiums.
Right.
So let's think outside the box here. Is it going to be offered, or is it going to work somewhere where it's going to be in concerts, or
Imagine Swifties being able to tell Taylor Swift, "We love you, Taylor," with their phones. They could come together, hold their phone up, and say, "We love you, Taylor."
Wow. See, that's what I'm thinking about too, because you have that. Is it going to go down to be available as far as maybe like high school games, as far as even, I like going to concerts, anywhere from, rock concerts to, I haven't been to a Taylor Swift concert. My daughter's growing up. She might want to eventually. But I even go as far as, religious concerts, Christian concerts, stuff like that. So concert wise, high school football games, high school basketball games, Pixie, is it just going to be a huge umbrella for everything to be under?
Yes,
absolutely. We'll be in concerts. We'll be in churches, the big churches that do digital entertainment engagement. We'll be in private events. We're working on some developments that will allow us to be at events where there's not assigned seating. So we dynamically identify where you are in the crowd. We're using AI, and then we can create images across those audiences even without any planning. And another part of that is in a near-term release, we'll be able to propagate the games across groups that aren't even using the mobile app. So if I've got the app and Rebecca doesn't, I'll be emitting a Bluetooth low-energy signal. Her phone will pick that up, and she'll be able to join in with me. So we'll be able to go from 30 or 40% participation to 80 or 90% saturation.
Gotcha. And that was my next question. And talking to one of the staff members that we have at Sweep the League, we were looking at everything. And now it's the question I had. Now, the idea behind Pixseat, amazing. It's like I said, it's going to be revolutionary. It's going to bring more excitement to games. But it's the fact that you have section 200 and you want that emoji, you want that pixel, you want that football, display. How does that go about? Because does one person, like you mentioned with Bluetooth, say, let's create this? Does it go to everybody in that section? Because the chances of you knowing everyone in that section is probably negative 10%. So
right.
Exactly.
I guess that's the part, is how we are going to get my phone right here and say, okay, I want to create this. I need everybody to help me out. How does that work?
Right. So there are several games within the app. One of them is creating images, private group images, where we're not managing it at the stadium level. Mm-hmm. And basically, if 2 or 3 of us agree, hey, we want to do this, it starts sending out signals to everybody around us to join in, and then they can join in and either do the one that we voted on, or they can vote on a different one, and then we can even prioritize those and do them over a period of time. And when we're doing that, we're going to be sensing that on the server side that there's a group here doing this. We're going to promote something opposing that, or even in support of that, depending on what it is, on the opposite side of the stadium, so we can create these competitions and get people even more excited about what they're doing with the game.
See, that's the part that I was curious about. Man, how is this going to work? Because I don't want to go tap the person next to me and, rival fan. They might be a rival fan of the rival team. And I'm like, hey, I know you don't like me. I don't like you. Can you kind of help me out here? Because we want to kind of build something. So
right.
And
totally that's why we when you talk about rivals and how fans can be, I'm one of the biggest, loudest fans there are. I'm from Alabama, so I got to be. But we have to limit what fans can present when they're managing what they're presenting, because we know fans can get a little crazy. So we're going to provide a set of icons, emojis, and logos that they can present, and some limited text messages that they can generate across the group. But we're not going to let them just create whatever they want, because they do crazy things.
Oh, no, yeah. Don't give full access to anything being created. That would not be a good idea here. Definitely not at all. Talking to Brian and Rebecca Haynes, Pixseat.com. It's going to be coming out later out this year, but the question I got for you as well is we know it's coming out soon. It's supposed to be, I think, a 2025 release date for this year, but where's the first place to be available? Because as Sweep the League goes, we're dang near global right now, according to everybody that we talk to and the people that messages us. We're dang near global, so you got a global audience in front of you. Where is it going to first be deployed at? Because who knows, you may have fans there that are watching and looking and thinking, okay, we're going to be the first ones to get it.
Well, I'll tell you, we're talking with several different venues about premiering there. We have a letter of intent with the University of Alabama, because that's my biggest dream.
Oh, yeah.
We're working on launching at Alabama in the 2025 football and basketball seasons, but that's not going to be our first. We're also in discussions with University of Tennessee. We're in discussions with the Pittsburgh Steelers and a couple others, but we're going small for our first public launch. We're going to be at a game next month with Middle Tennessee State University. So it'll be a smaller presentation, but it'll be our first public premiere with hundreds of people participating.
There you go. So you are going to be launching at some pretty big venues. I mean, there's no doubt about that. As when it comes to teams, say you got a pro team. I know you mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers. Say you go San Antonio Spurs team. Is that something that you guys contact them, or are you hoping they contact you guys? Licensing, because that's the other part, the licensing part. I mean, you've got some teams that are just like, you know what? I don't want my logo in the fans like that. Where's the tiptoe around that? Because you're like, well, we're in your arena. We're helping you out. It's the fans doing it. So how can that work out? So is licensing an issue for something like this?
So far, it hasn't been. The teams and even the music groups we're talking with, licensing is an issue, because they are actually in control of what's on the screen, on the screens, and when it's on the screen. So they have production control during the event. They even have production design before we get to the event. But we do approach them. We present a different model than our competitors, which I'll talk about them in a second. But instead of the venue paying us to be there, we pay them for us to be there. So we literally will be paying the University of Alabama to let us bring Pixseat to the fans. And we do that because about 80 to 85% of our business model is advertising. And that's where it gets really interesting. So when you go to a game, you might see, I'm not allowed to name names right now, but you might see
no, don't do
some of the big beverage brands on the Jumbotron. When you see those brands, at the same time, you're going to simultaneously see an ad on your screen that is unique to you. So if it were a soda, it might be the same brand soda, but for me, it would be an individual drink discount. For Rebecca, it would be a 12-pack. She does the shopping for the family. So we're customizing advertising synchronized with the stadium, so it's more interesting and more fun. And then we deliver that the revenue. We split that revenue with the stadium. So they want us there.
Yeah.
Whereas our competition, they charge to be there. So the stadiums are paying them to appear. We take a very different approach.
No, that's a smart approach too, because I mean, you're getting your product out there. You're paying. You got to be paid to be out there, and you're going to eventually, in other words, business aspect. You got to spend to make, and you're going to eventually come back and make a whole bunch more. The whole Pixseat.com. Is there going to be a charge for that type of thing to use it?
The vast majority of users, it'll be a free app and free access to the app. For premium subscribers, we'll be delivering a different level. So if I'm in the stadium and I've got the free app, I'll have access to everything that Rebecca has if she has the premium. But if she has the premium, she gets to order concessions to her seat for free, no extra fee for that. She gets free Wi-Fi at her seat. She gets additional information prior to the event, and she gets stats during the game. So we're going to be delivering real-time stats to the fan sitting in the stadium, where you normally can't get that.
Wow, man! And I'm over here thinking like, man, the stats is going to be perfect. I mean, if you ever later on down the line, I mean, integrating, because these days when you're at sporting events, I'm covering them. I'm watching people on their phones, and they're not necessarily looking at stats. They're looking at their prize picks. They're looking at their underdog, their fantasy stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, something integrating something for Pixseats for premium. Man, I'm just thinking about all the opportunities you guys are going to be able to provide for the ultimate fan experience. Talking to Brian and Rebecca Hayes, go to Pixseat.com. Why? Because it's going to be revolutionizing this fan experience. I'm already enjoying it, talking about it, and I'm going to say that I'm going to give y'all permission to use the Sweep the League logo whenever y'all want at games. 100%. If y'all guys want to do it, I don't want anything back. I just want to be able to wipe the tears when I say, "Look, Mom, I made it." I'm actually game here.
Awesome, we love it.
Yeah. I got to go off a question here before we get back into more Pixseat. Was I also noticed, and I don't know if he's still a part of your group at Pixseat.com, Craig Colquitt.
Yes.
So
I was just talking with him yesterday.
Yeah. So if I saw him on the website, I got to remember he has two sons, and all three are punters in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, they're both of them are retired from the NFL. Okay. One of them is still coaching at University of Tennessee, but they are both our ambassadors to the NFL.
Nice.
Britton and Dustin Colquitt. And Greg is a great advocate for us. He's actually an investor as well. And we just finished our first phase of investment. And now we're open to our second phase. But Craig is a great advocate and a partner of ours. And we enjoy talking with him. The Colquitt family, they are the punting family. They are the fourth down team for us.
Nice. And the reason why I remember, like, man, the name sounds so familiar, and he was a two-time champ with the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Does he ever walk in with the rings and like, this is me right here?
He's not that way. He's a very humble person. No, he's really not. He's just a great guy. He really is.
Yeah. No, I've covering sports. I said it reminded me a whole lot of like, man, I know I've heard the name before. Did a little research, and I said, oh wow, their dad that's who it is, Craig Colquitt. So yeah. I mean, getting the biggest part about Pixseat is where you want to go, and having a guy like Craig as a part of it definitely gets you a lot further in, and it helps because like you mentioned, he's the sports guy. He's a sports ambassador. He's a guy that's going to get you with Pittsburgh. He's going to be able to open up a lot of other doors. Pixseat.com. You've got the experience. You've got everything integrated. Y'all are ready to go. Is there another step? Is there something else that might be coming out afterwards? You don't have to spill the beans. I don't want you to give away any secrets yet, because I don't want no one trademark or copyright or anything. But I feel like you can go into whole much more than what's just right now.
Well, I'll tell you. You mentioned trademark, copyright, and patents. We're patent pending, so nobody else has the patent for generating images across the audience.
Okay.
Our competition does create waves of light, but nothing like we do. But in terms of future releases, and we're not worried about discussing this publicly, because the capability to do it relies on some of the things that we're doing, and nobody else can do that. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we'll be able to do in the future is, when you've got 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 fans holding their phone up, pointing at the field, we're going to be capturing pictures and video of what's happening on the field from 10,000 perspectives, stitching that together. And then if you're at home watching the game on your Xbox or your PlayStation, you'll be able to see a 3D POV of anywhere on the field. Not instant replay, but a replay at a different level. So if you want to be the football, or you want to be the ref, you want to be the center, you can see that play from any perspective. And that's something that nobody else has been able to do before.
Wow. See, I had to ask, and I thought I'm probably not going to get an answer on that there. It's just probably some hush top secret stuff. But there you go, guys. I mean, Pixseat.com is going to be available this year. It's going to be across pretty much every stadium. Eventually, it's going to be all over global, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, talking to Brian and Rebecca Haynes at Pixseat.com. Go check out the website, Pixseat.com. Get up to date right now, because you don't want to be left behind. You're getting all the way, integrated with the fans. You're getting, deliveries to your chair. You got the premium service. It's going to offer a whole lot more than you just mentioned. Basically just going from home to being at the game in different perspectives, which mentioned earlier, Google goggles and all this virtual reality stuff. You can kind of put them on and sit courtside and stuff like that. The crazy part is, and what I love about you guys, is that you're not limiting me to the seat. Like you mentioned, the ref, the center. I'm actually going to feel like, well, I'm right there on the field or on the court or something like that. So kudos to you guys. Y'all are building something great. And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to talk to you guys, because I can say, you know what? I knew about this a little bit earlier than a lot of the things out there. So that makes it a little bit better here. But I appreciate you guys joining us today on Sweep Unplugged. If you got anything you want to plug right now, anything more y'all guys want to talk about, the floor is y'all's.
Well, we are going to start a fan engagement group. We want the fans to come together and tell us what they want. We want to hear from them. We want to get their feedback. So we are going to have a Facebook group just for the fans. So that's
awesome.
coming out too.
Awesome. And yeah, we definitely share as much as we can for you guys. That way we can help y'all grow in that aspects. And hey, fans out there, you know what? $140 a ticket, it's a steep price and all that, but the experience is getting better, and we can thank Brian and Rebecca Haynes for that. Pixseat.com. The experience will be much, much better for you guys out there. Again, appreciate you guys joining us here on Sweep Unplugged. I know it's a Friday, and this is the best way to start the weekend with all the football that's about to come up. So everybody's going to be excited. But again, appreciate you guys for joining us here today.
Thanks
so much for having us. We enjoyed it.
Awesome. So for Brian and Rebecca Haynes, Rudy Campos Jr., bringing to you another Sweep Unplugged. Be sure to go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be coming to you later on tonight with a Sweep the League TV special with myself, Derek Gervin, on some NFL preview playoff predictions. That's a lot to say in just a little bit there, but we start again at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So for everybody here, until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, Knuckleheads.